So I guess it's time for another Flames of War accessory review. I only seem to do these like, oh, I don't know, every other month. I have more accessories now for Flames of War, and I still am no closer to actually playing it, which I think is really, really tragic. But the nice thing about these accessories today, the terrain from Gale Force 9, is that they can be used for any game, any system, really. I do have a desert mat coming from Frontline Gaming. I got their Barren Wasteland mat, I believe. I'll throw an image of that up there. That's coming in the mail. So when that eventually hits, both my Desert Oasis, my Escarpments, and my palm trees that I already have will be right at home and not out of place on this lush, green, rocky texture. So let's go ahead and dive right into them real quick. And I will start with the one that's easier to open, which is the Desert Escarpments. In the box for the Desert Escarpments, you're going to find two pieces of terrain, two escarpments. And here we go. Now, Gale Force 9 does offer these as regular escarpments as well, which they're going to be lighter gray and have like a brown, more of a chocolate brown texture on the top, so you can put flock on it, and that would be perfect for the green mat here. But since these are the desert ones, you could still probably put flock on here, and it probably would still look all right. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave these as is, because I desperately need desert terrain for not only for Flames of War, but for BattleTech. I really would love to have a desert board. These apparently are made out of some sort of resin. They have the pore holes here for air, and I imagine they're really hollow inside. They're not heavy. They're pretty light. And they're pretty big too. Let's go ahead and get some comparison shots with a couple different scales of miniatures to see what they look like. Alright, let's start with the smaller scale stuff. Right now, I've got a Shadowhawk miniature from Ironwind Metals, which is BattleTech. That's 6mm. As you can see, comes up pretty nice. Can make for some decent covering terrain. Also, a great vantage point for sniping. So let's go to Flames of War, which is what this is primarily made for. Yeah, no burst Repmires, chilling right here on the side of that cliff. Looks good. And then sorry these aren't painted, I hate showing unpainted miniatures. But these are 6mm Infantry for BattleTech. And that shows you how teeny tiny they are up against it and how massive this piece looks. I'm loving it. So let's transition over to 28mm and 32mm. Here we have an Infinity model that I actually use for Rogue Stars, and he looks pretty decent next to it. He's able to see over part of it. So for true line of sight games, I think that'll work out well. And then we got a Space Marine Commander Calm from the Red Scorpions, and you know, again, like the Infinity model, he can peek over or be obscured if we're doing true line of sight. Nice. And then we have the Age of Sigmar Slaughter Priest. He is a little bit taller than the Marine, so again, true line of sight. But all in all, when we look at all three of these miniatures up against the Escarpment, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I think these will work out just fine. Alright, so let's take a look at the Desert Oasis. There's only one piece of terrain in here. However, you do get 4 trees to put in here, however you see fit. Although it will only take 3, so you have to choose whether you want, you know, your combination of being 2 larges and 1 medium, or 2 medium and 1 large. Meh. Whatever. I just wanted the pool. So let's look at this guy up close. So here we go. Out of the package. Oh, there's a 4th hole. Wasn't showing on the back there. But, I mean, I like the texture, and I like the stonework. The only opportunity I really have with this is the water. As my first water feature that I've gotten from Gale Force 9, I was kind of expecting maybe like a clear coat to go on top to make it look like, I don't know, a little bit more watery, like water effects. But I may go back in later with some Woodland Scenics water effects just to kind of fill this in a little bit. But overall, though, I think this will work. I think this will work nicely with all the different scales, much like those escarpments. So, for example, we got our Flames of War tank. We have our Battletech mech cooling off there. We have our Khorne Slaughter Priest washing off all that blood, although he probably really wouldn't. Our Space Marine, and then our Infinity model. So overall, I mean, it is multi-purpose. Definitely the smaller scale you go, I mean, it's going to be a bigger terrain piece. But I like it. So would I recommend these terrain pieces? I most definitely would recommend, without any hesitation, the Desert Escarpment. I think that's a wonderful piece of terrain, and I would recommend picking up maybe 1 or 2 of them. Even if you get 2 in there, I think having 2 packs of these gives you more flexibility on the battlefield. And I just like the idea that you can make like almost like a mini canyon if you double up on them. I think that's pretty cool. For the Desert Oasis, I think it'll be great with a little bit of extra work on top of that blue. I mean, if you look at the art here, it looks like it's a dusty blue. Like there may be some sort of like clear coat on top. But in reality, it's just probably an early prototype with a different type of blue painted on there to give off the impression of that. I don't know. But I do think that the end product needs a little bit more work. But yeah, I would recommend it. Especially if you want quick and easy terrain and you don't have to fool with anything. You definitely probably could make this and make more of them cheaper with the straight up materials. If you had MDF board and beveled the edges, some flock, and some styrofoam, insulation foam rather, with the hot knife, you definitely could make this. It's just, do you have the time and are you willing to do it? And for me, I'm not. Yep. Hopefully you guys found this interesting or informative. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit like if you liked it. And see you guys next time. Just a quick edit or addendum to what I just reviewed. Be very careful with these when you try to remove them from the packaging. These suckers are indeed hollow and will snap if you put too much pressure on it. Which, if you also drop it, that may be the end of your terrain. So, just FYI, be very, very careful with these.